As the government shutdown reaches its second week, effects on travel, government workers' pay, and FAFSA are questioned. SEPTA has suspended over half of their regional rail train cars for inspection upon recommendation from the National Transportation Safety Board and an emergency order from the Federal Railroad Administration.
The Supreme Court is making decisions about conversion therapy in the states. Welcome to WU TV. I'm Allison Padula, and this is Alexis Hilton. The United States government has now been shut down for 9 days. As the fiscal year ended on September 30th, 2025, Congress has been unable to pass a budget or to find a continuing resolution to fund the government due to a partisan argument over the extension of the Affordable Care Act. The government shutdown is affecting travel for many Americans. The Federal Aviation Administration is reporting short staffing at air traffic control centers. The Transportation Security Administration is reporting hundreds of call-outs. TSA officers and FAA air traffic controllers are considered essential employees, which means they're supposed to work without pay during the shutdown. This has caused massive slowdowns and delays at multiple airports, including Newark and Philadelphia. Disagreements in the White House have made it unclear if federal workers will be getting paid back during this time. The 2019 law states that each employee of the United States government or of a District of Columbia public employer furloughed as a result of a covered lapse in appropriations shall be paid for the period of lapse in appropriations. The original law has been removed from the White House website's frequently asked questions page and replaced with a new version of the document that states, exempted employees are entitled to back pay, but makes no mention of back pay for furloughed employees. The shutdown has also raised concern about the Department of Education and FAFSA and student loans. The department says most of its core operations will continue during the shutdown. Federal financial aid will keep flowing and student loan payments will still be due. The last time the government was shut down was in 2019 during President Donald Trump's first term. On January 25, 2019, Trump signed a bill to reopen the government for 21 days after a shortage of air traffic controllers forced the FAA to limit traffic at major airports.
The National Transportation Safety Board recommended on October 1st that SEPTA pull over half their Silverliner 4 rail cars after a series of fires that occurred this year. These rail cars are SEPTA's oldest, dating back to the mid-1970s, and are some of the oldest in operation across the country. These cars currently represent approximately 2/3 of SEPTA's regional rail fleet. The Federal Railroad Administration then issued an emergency order requiring SEPTA to take several actions, including the installation of new thermal detectors and daily inspections. SEPTA released a statement on October 6th that due to the suspension of the Silverliners, there will be delays, cancellations, and overcrowding on the cars. SEPTA has said that the suspension may take weeks, although the Federal Railroad Administration gave the agency a month to complete the actions, repairs, and inspections listed in the order. SEPTA spokesperson Andrew Bush said, "We'll continue making adjustments as needed based on what we are seeing."
On Tuesday, the Supreme Court heard a challenge of a law banning conversion therapy in Colorado. The challenge was brought up by Christian therapist Kaylee Childs. The Supreme Court, with a 6-3 conservative majority, seemed to lean in favor of Childs' argument. Conversion therapy, favored by some religious conservatives, is a practice that seeks to get LGBTQ children to identify as heterosexual and their gender assigned at birth. The Supreme Court must identify if these bans operate like standard medical regulations or if they go further and inhibit freedom of speech, as Childs suggests. Childs referenced an earlier case from this year that allowed states to ban gender transition care for minors in a case involving Tennessee law, and Childs questioned why the court would give states an option in one case and not the other. Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser, a Democrat, said in court papers that a ruling against the state would not only ban conversion therapy, but any other healthcare treatments that experts say are unsafe or don't work. If the law does infringe on freedom of speech, the Supreme Court must review it and decide if the law was created to meet a specific goal. The Trump administration filed a brief urging the Supreme Court to rule that the law does burden freedom of speech, and also said that a ruling in favor of trials would not change state regulation in other areas. After a chilly morning, let's check in with Gage Grace, our weather anchor, outside Old Main, to see what's going on outside.
Thank you, Allison. Right now, I'm outside of Old Main, and it is a wonderful 63 degrees. The sun is shining, and on days like this, you're grateful for that sun and its warmth. We'll learn more about that at the Weather Center with the weekly forecast, but right now, let's go into sports with Anthony.
Thank you for that report, Gage. After this quick break, we'll be covering all things Widener and Philadelphia sports. Stay tuned.
Wherever you go at Widener, you've always got your pride. Everywhere you go, and behind everything you do. And before you know it, you are working in your field, realizing your life's ambitions before you even leave Widener.
If you have a dream, come join us.
Widener University. Many roars, one pride.
Welcome to the Sports Desk. I'm Anthony Fedeli. The Philadelphia Eagles are navigating a turbulent week after a surprising 21-17 loss to the Denver Broncos. Now, the Eagles must contend not only with the emotional fallout of the upset, but also with mounting injury concerns. Left guard Landon Dickerson is expected to miss 1 to 2 weeks with an ankle injury sustained in the loss to Denver, forcing backup Brett Toth into action. Looking ahead, the Eagles head to MetLife Stadium on Thursday to take on the 1-4 New York Giants. The Philadelphia Flyers have entered a new chapter of unveiling a flurry of roster changes and leadership shifts aimed at resetting the franchise's direction. At the forefront of the shakeup is Rick Tocchet, who has been named new head coach after the team dismissed John Tortorella late last season. After a long preseason, the Flyers are back in action on Thursday against the Florida Panthers. The Philadelphia Union this past Saturday won the Supporters Shield 1-0 against the New York City FC. The Boys in Blue improved their record to 26-7, setting a new club record for total wins in a season. Head coach Bradley Carnell, who took the helm in the offseason, is looking to keep his guys focused as playoffs approach. Widener homecoming weekend has arrived. To kick off the weekend, Widener's women's volleyball will take on Arcadia on Friday night. Heading into Saturday with a jam-packed schedule, Widener's field hockey team is set to square off against Stevenson at 12 p.m. Also at 12 is Widener men's and women's swim team will face off against Scranton University. The Widener men's football team heads to battle against FDU Florham as kickoff is set for 1 p.m. Later in the night, Widener men's and women's soccer team take on Hood College. The men's game will start at 4:30 and the women's game will start immediately following at 7:30. That's all for the Sports Desk. Next up, we are debuting our new segment, World News, with our reporter, Lola Geyer. Stay tuned after this.
Thanks, Anthony. Welcome to our new segment, World News, where we cover top stories happening across the globe. I'm Lola Geyer. A government collapse occurred in France after the country's Prime Minister, Sébastien Lecornu, resigned. The Prime Minister is the second highest ranking official behind the president. France has gone through 5 different prime ministers in less than 2 years. Government instability in France has been ongoing with a deadlocked National Assembly, growing debt crisis, and protests denouncing spending cuts. Lecornu is the shortest-serving prime minister of less than a month in office. A re-election process has yet to be announced. UNESCO, an agency of the United Nations, which promotes international cooperation through education, culture, and science, is also experiencing significant election changes as their executive board nominated Khalid al-Anani as director. This would mark him as the first Arab and Egyptian director for the agency. El-Anani's first challenge is to take on the significant budget shortfall after the United States withdrew in July, making the U.S. one of 2 countries following Liechtenstein who are not a part of the 193-member agency. Over in China, more than 200 hikers remain trapped on the eastern slope of the world's highest mountain, Mount Everest. Hikers who traveled up nearly 16,000 feet got caught in a blizzard one evening that intensified overnight, leaving some to experience mild hypothermia and cold stress. Luckily, Chinese rescuers are working hard to get the hikers to safety, and more than 350 hikers have already made it out of the mountain to a rendezvous point in a small town in China. Fortunately, no casualties have yet to be reported. That's all for now, sending it back to Alexis Hilton at the news desk.
Thank you, Lola. Looking for something to do this weekend? Come out and celebrate the U.S. Navy's 250th anniversary in a series of events dedicated to the history of these troops, starting October 9th through the 16th, all throughout Philadelphia and the Delaware River. Events include an opening ceremony and watch parties, flyovers, a parade of ships, various exhibits, a Navy gala, and firework displays. For more information, visit the Homecoming 250 website at homecoming250.org. To continue the Army-Navy Star Series by USAA, they will be hosting men and women's soccer matches in Chester, PA on Friday, October 10th, with the women's game kicking off at 4 p.m. and the men's game kicking off at 7 p.m. Are you in need of a passport? Well, you're in luck. The IIE American Passport Project deadline has been extended. To be eligible to register, you must be a U.S. citizen 18 years old or older. This is for students currently enrolled at Widener University who are Pell Grant eligible and have not previously held an adult U.S. passport. Expired child passport or passport cards are acceptable. Priority will be given to first-year students, which includes transfer students. The new deadline is Wednesday, October 15th, 2025, so make sure to act fast. If you have any questions, please be sure to contact Madison Becker at mdbecker@widener.edu.
Strikes have begun at the Sheraton Downtown Hotel and the Hampton Inn Philadelphia Center City Convention Center. Room attendants, cooks, bartenders, and other hospitality workers have gone on strike, demanding significant wages, pension increases, and improvements in health care coverage. These employees say that inflation has eaten up their wages, causing them to be unable to take care of their families. In addition, workers have mentioned that understaffing has caused them to work harder and stay longer hours. Sheraton Philadelphia Downtown released a statement regarding the strike, saying, "We are disappointed the union has elected to call a strike." They announced that the hotel is prepared to be operational for guests for the upcoming events in Philadelphia. A compromise has not yet been reached in regards to the strike. Since 1901, the Nobel Prize in Medicine has honored breakthroughs that changed the understanding of the human body, and this year was no exception. This year, the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize for Medicine and Physiology was awarded to Mary Bernot, Fred Ramsdell, and Shimon Sakaguchi for their groundbreaking work on the immune system's restraints itself from harming the human body. Their work explains why most of us don't constantly get sick from our own defenses, and what happens when that balance is interrupted. Beyond the science, the implications are huge. 2 years later, Sakaguchi finalized his discovery, which spurred on the innovation of different medical treatments for conditions like cancer or other autoimmune diseases. "I believe the time will come when cancer is no longer a scary disease, but a curable one," said Sakaguchi. The 3 scientists will officially receive their Nobel Prizes at the ceremony in Stockholm on December 10th.
Widener's very own Pride Pack dance team is heading to the NBA. Join them as they perform at halftime for the 76ers versus Atlanta Hawks game on February 19th at 7 p.m. Tickets are on sale now. For more information, please reach out to them at WooPridePackDanceTeam@gmail.com or DM them on Instagram at Widener_PridePack. Let's check back in with Gage Grace inside at the Weather Center to see if we are getting more chilly weather this week.
Thank you so much, Alexis. Welcome to the Weather Center. Let's see what we've got cooking for this week's weekly forecast. Tomorrow, we're going to start the morning off with a 50 degrees, and it's going to be partly cloudy. At noon, it's going to be 62 degrees, still partly cloudy, and finishing off with the evening, it's going to be 59 degrees and partly cloudy. Saturday, it's going to be showers throughout the whole week, but on specifically Saturday, it's going to be cloudy with a high of 69 and a low of 53. Sunday, still more showers, high of 65, low of 59. Wednesday, we've got a high of 68 and a low of 55. Thursday, the showers are cutting down. We got a high of 58 and a low of 49. Friday, we've got a cloudy day with a high of 61 and a low of 47. Thanks so much, and stay tuned because after this commercial, we'll be right back.
This coming weekend is homecoming, and Widener has an exciting lineup of events planned. Here's what you can look forward to. On October 9th, don't miss the Homecoming Coffee Stop hosted by the Commuter Student Association, which will be at 12 to 2 p.m. Grab a cup of coffee, snacks, enjoy music, yard games, and volleyball. On October 10th, join us for the Homecoming Carnival on Memorial Field. Enjoy games, activities, and an enjoyable atmosphere that celebrates our school spirit. Lastly, on October 11th, wrap up the week with the Office of Student Inclusion and Belonging Homecoming Block Party from 4 to 6 p.m. This event will feature engaging activities for students and faculty alike to connect with the community. Get ready for a weekend full of fun. With flu season in full swing, Student Health Services and the School of Nursing are hosting a flu shot clinic in the University Center, Room A. The dates include October 14th, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., October 15th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and October 16th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Make sure to bring your insurance card and wear a short sleeve shirt. Students' registration for classes is around the corner. Make sure to schedule appointments with your advisor for spring classes starting next week. November is when official class registration begins, so plan accordingly.
On Thursday, October 2nd, Widener partnered with TEDx for their third annual TEDx Widener University presentation, where 5 speakers came in and gave TED Talks on various topics. This event kicked off with a presentation on therapy dogs and their impacts by John DeSantis and his dog Ingrid, followed by the impacts of adolescent vape usage by Dr. Emily Battaglia, AI False Information by Christina Dorset, Discrimination by Keisha Turner-Roberts, and a talk on OCD by Communication Studies Junior Dallas Woodruff. The age-old question for Pennsylvanians has always been Wawa or Sheetz. And a recent ranking from the American Customer Satisfaction Index puts the two companies tied. Our reporter Jaden Crutchfield spoke to Widener students to get their take.
Hi, my name is Jaden Crutchfield here with Woo TV, and today we will be interviewing people on whether they like Wawa or Sheetz better. Hi, I'm here with
Charlie.
All right, Charlie, do you like Wawa or Sheetz better?
I like Wawa better.
And why do you like Wawa better?
I'm from Jersey, so there's Wawa everywhere, and they got so much stuff there. I'm always at Wawa when I'm back in Jersey, so that's probably why I would pick Wawa.
All right, thank you. All right, I'm here with
Chris.
All right, Chris, Wawa or Sheetz?
Honestly, not a big Sheetz fan, so I have to go with Wawa.
And why do you pick Wawa?
Honestly, I mean, Wawa just, to me, a better place. Like, it has everything you need. Donuts here are hot. I mean, I'm not going to lie, but yeah, I think the donuts are just 10 times better, so I'm going to have to go with Wawa.
Hi, I'm here with
Destiny.
All right, Destiny, Wawa or Sheetz?
Wawa.
And why do you pick Wawa?
Because of what is Sheetz? I've never heard of Sheetz.
Hi, I'm here with
John.
All right, John, do you like Wawa or Sheetz better?
So I was born on Wawa. I know everybody likes Wawa, but I've been to a Sheetz before, and their food is like 10 times better. Their food's better, their breakfast stuff better.
Hi, I'm here with
Clarissa.
All right, Clarissa, do you like Wawa or Sheetz better?
Wawa, because I'm from Northeast Philadelphia and we don't got a Sheetz, so Plus, I think I've been to Sheets, but it's like a knockoff of Wawa. And I think Wawa is better. They got better food, gas prices are better, so really, just Wawa.
All right, I'm here with.
Gage.
All right, Gage. Wawa or Sheets?
Wawa, definitely.
And why did you pick Wawa?
It's where I've been going my whole life. It's got the sandwiches and everything.
Hi, I'm here with.
Ryan Francis.
All right, Ryan. Do you like Wawa or Sheets better?
I like Sheets. I like certain aspects of Sheets because here's the thing. I'm a big slushy guy, and you go to Sheets. Wawa only has 4 like slushy dispensers. If you go to Sheets, they got like 20 slushy dispensers, and they got more flavors than Wawa does. Because every time I go to Wawa, they only got like 4 flavors, and one of them's broken.
Hi, I'm here with.
Officer White.
All right, Officer White. Wawa or Sheets?
Sheets.
And all right, I'm here with.
Shannon.
All right, Shannon. Do you prefer Wawa or Sheets?
Wawa.
And why do you prefer Wawa?
Because I've never had Sheets.
All right, Winnie. Do you prefer Wawa or Sheets?
Thank you for that report, Jaden, and thank you for watching this episode of Woo TV. For Gage Grace, Anthony Fedeli, Lola Geyer, Allison, Padula, and all the behind-the-scenes crew, I'm Alexis Hilton. Good night.